Hello Cinnamon Bun. So, I am running a tabletop game, a mini campaign, which I'm calling Space Hamster, so it's about hamsters in space. And it is Sunday, the 14th of February today, and my game is on Thursday the 18th. And a girl got a prep. A girl's got a lot of prep to do. I have 4 days, including today, so I better fucking get to it, huh? There's a certain level of panic that I'm bringing to this, which is enjoyable. So, 4 days, completely homebrew campaign and kind of campaign setting because I just cannot leave well enough alone. Yeah, this campaign I'm hoping to run like between like 3 and 5 sessions. Yeah, I've got a little list of like the 5 kind of points or plot points or scenes that I want to run in this first session. And so I at least have a little bit of structure there. But otherwise, you guys, I have a lot to figure out. I have never run anything in this system before. I really love the system, but I'm not super comfortable with it. So I'm very nervous about even just creating like the stat blocks and stuff for NPCs and antagonists and stuff. And yeah, there's a lot to figure out. So I'm going to attempt that over the next 4 days. And you're going to come along with me because you clicked this video and you're here now. And that's the end of that. I mean, I guess, unless you choose to leave, which is always your right. But assuming that you stick with me, that's what we're going to be doing. Today I have the whole day to myself, as per fucking always. So I'd like to make a good start on this. I am having my brother over tomorrow, who's one of my players, and we are going to prep, we're going to do some D&D prep together because he's also working on a mini campaign. But obviously there's a lot that I can't tell him as a player, but I'd like to be in like I'd like to get some stuff done before that. What am I doing? Oh my god, lost my train of thought. What is going on? Give me that brain juice. Let me tell you a little bit about how I'm prepping, tools wise, because I've now run Monster of the Week 3 times, 3 sessions, and I'm still finding my footing for like how I like to prep and like how I like to organize my notes and what format and what works for me and stuff. For the first Monster of the Week game, which ran 2 6-hour sessions, far too long, I did everything on my laptop. I used Notion, but then I found that it was just a little bit tricky to navigate quickly enough while I was running the session, essentially, like having like all the NPCs in one place and then locations in another place, and like even with shortcuts and tables of content and stuff, I still just found it a little bit tricky. And also, I can only run online games right now because of COVID. All games are online and I like to play with video, and so switching screens to go to my notes and then switching back to like the feeds of the players and the actual game and like where we're rolling dice and stuff, I just find a little bit clunky as well. And I know that I'm much more of a pen and paper person. So for my third Monster of the Week game, I ran things off of paper, sheets of paper. Monster of the Week, they have like a really cool like mystery sheet where it kind of like summarizes like all the different elements of your mystery on one piece of paper, and I painstakingly wrote all of that out and crammed it all onto one sheet of A4 and then had like my rules and moves and stuff. That I found just wasn't quite enough space, but I did really like having it all on paper in front of me so that I could just keep my laptop screen on the game and on the rolls and stuff. Every time I talk about this, my brother's like, you just need to get another monitor, and I'm like, I just know that I'm a pen and paper person, and that as soon as it's possible to run games in person again, that's also what I want to be doing. I'm gonna sneeze. Come on, do it. Oh, I hate that. Don't you hate it when you don't sneeze? So yeah, tried that. I liked it a bit better, but it still wasn't quite working, wasn't quite enough space. And obviously the problem with pen and paper is that it can be very linear, which means if you need to add extra information to a particular NPC or location or whatever, you run out of space. And so I was like, I need something that's pen and paper but modular, in that I can move things around and I can expand sections if I need to and stuff. And so I had looked at, I know you get like campaign planners and things like that, you know, like disc bound or ring bound systems, which are super cool. But a lot of the cool ones that I saw were designed specifically for Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition, which is not what I have run so far. Although I'm not going to say never, I probably will end up trying it at some point. And so there wasn't quite enough stuff that made enough sense for me to actually get one of those. And then I thought, hey, what if I use index cards? And I think part of it was inspired by coming across index card RPG, which seems super cool. I have so many systems that I am trying, and I'm very scattered with systems, so I don't want to introduce anything else right now. But I was like, yeah, I love using index cards. I've used them for writing before, and I thought, how cool would that be to like have all my locations and characters and stuff on index cards, which I can then reshuffle. I can lay them out all out on the table if I want to see them all at once. And if I fill up an index card, I can give you an example here. These are my cards that I started making for running that Monster of the Week one shot again. If I run out of space on a card, I can tape another card to it, and so I can fold it out, and it can be like, you know, a concertina kind of thing, or I can like fold it away and keep them in a stack so I'm not overwhelmed with all my information at once, if need be. And so I thought that's a really cool modular system where I can keep expanding the different stacks of cards as I need to. And I can also put little like images and stuff on there as well. Something I really like to try doing more of is, instead of you know, making notes of what a character, an NPC looks like, is just like printing out a picture, like an inspiration image, and sticking it on the card and being able to like describe them directly from that. So this was the start of a character card that I started making for my Monster of the Week one shot that I want to run again, and I would be filling all this up with notes. So that is how I'm going to try and run this game, off index cards. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, and I guess part of that was also inspired by, you know, obviously for D&D or for various systems you get like spell cards, which is just a handy way to keep that information. And so I'd made like move cards for Monster of the Week, where I basically took the basic moves, here we go, and then put them on cards. Yeah, so this is my kind of like stack of in progress cards for Space Hamster, which is the game that I'm working on now, and I just keep them in this like zip pocket thing. And the other tool that I'm using is a GM journal, which is kind of like a bullet journal where I can keep like my list of like things that I need, like tasks essentially, like here's the things that I want to make. I've done some brainstorming and stuff in here. And I think I'll also use this for session notes as well. So like, I think when it comes to plot points and stuff, I might try doing a layout like some of the ones that I saw in campaign planners and stuff. Boy, that was a long explanation. As always, yeah, I'm super new to this, so we're gonna give it a try and we'll see how it works for me. I think, like a lot of things, it's one of those, what works for one GM isn't gonna work for everyone, and so I'm excited to try this format. I need a box for those. I'm gonna start. This is a very weird way to try and chat to you. Hold on. Okay, yeah, I am gonna start with making the antagonist. I haven't told you anything about the story. Small rodent people live in the walls and vents of a space station. And my PCs are going to be those small rodent people, and they are going to be doing a heist. I know that they have a history with this antagonist character who they're going to be stealing from, but I don't really know the details of it, and I don't know who this person is. So let's start with that. Okay, I've got my ducks in a row for making new characters for this game. I had some collating of info I needed to do for that. I heard someone advise to try to like map out, you know, the locations and characters and story first, and then take the rules and apply them to that and give out stats and stuff like that, which I think is a good idea. So I'm gonna start by doing a little 5-minute brainstorm to see if I can come up with like a concept for this antagonist. Like a general, like who they are, maybe like an archetype, maybe like smooshing together some existing characters that might be interesting. But I'm just going to give that 5 minutes and see how it goes. And if I don't get something that I like in that time, then I will start doing some random rolls for these different aspects of their character and see if that jolts anything loose and work with that. Okay, we didn't get a ton out of that, so it's time to start rolling for some options. Species, D6. 1. Ratfolker. Okay. Birth sign, D6. 1. Star, brave, reckless. Interesting. I don't know how much that's going to fit for this kind of antagonist, but we'll see. I'm not beholden to any of these. It's just like prompts, you know, if I need to change it, that's fine, but it's just to get the gears turning to start to understand like what's the basic idea with this character. Telos or motivation, it's a D20. 13. Order. Interesting. That works. Physical coat, D6. Twice. 3. White. And 5. Marbled. White marbled fur. And a physical detail is, yeah, a D66, but roll a D6 twice. So that's 6 and 5. 65. Prehensile tail. So far all of this is, yeah, fine. And then a hustle or a background. I might roll for both and see which I like better. Hustle's from Stillfleet and the backgrounds are from Mouse Ritter, so it's a D30, which I do not have. 2, 3, 23. I mean, I could use both of them if they fit together. Teacher, interesting. Okay, that doesn't immediately fit in with my idea, but it could be a good background. So let's try a background now, which is also a D30. It's a 1, so something teen, and a 0, which means 10. So that would be, I guess that would either be 10 or 20. Let's see them both. Wire worker or prison guard. I'll have to choose, I'll have to narrow that down I think. Unless this character has done all three of those things. The telos definitely works. But maintaining organisation. The coat is fine. Prehensile tail and rat folker. It's really like the birth sign and the background. Yeah, I think Storm, generous, wrathful makes more sense. That sounds more crime bossy to me. And I know that one of our players is a Storm. I'm not immediately seeing how any of those work, to be honest. Okay, yeah, here's some nicer names. Let's see if any of them work. Edmund. Festus, that's cool. Colby. Dill. Actually, I like Dill. Catcher. Actually, I like Catcher. Sometimes you do just have to Google rat in a suit. Okay, I got sucked into looking at like inspiration images for like a good hour or something. Don't even know how long. Which always feels like a bit of a waste of time, but to be fair, I found an image that I want to use for this character now, which is helping me get, like, I don't know, I find this with characters that like it's really important for me to have like a strong visual image of them to be able to start to wrap my head around like who they are and stuff, even though it might not be super relevant to like their motivation or how they're going to act and stuff. Like for me, having a strong visual, like mental image of them is always like one of the first building blocks that I need to be able to attach those other ideas to almost, which I know is not how everyone's brain works, but it's certainly how mine works. So I've got, yeah, a bit of art, an idea for what he looks like, and I've decided his name, and the art also has inspired me to make him a multi-class, which is cool because now I've added an extra character detail, and so I feel like I'm building more stuff from having picked this bit of art. Yeah, we're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere. What I want to do now is make some notes on the stuff that I have thought about, or the stuff that I fleshed out through finding this image, and then start to actually collate all that stuff and write it up into a character card for him. And I actually got myself this little like Polaroid photo printer, so I think I will print that image, and yeah, we'll start putting together the character card for this antagonist. Should I just be doing a character sheet for this? Probably. Cool. Okay, yeah, this is the thing, is that I'm used to running Monster of the Week, in which your NPCs and monsters and stuff don't get like there's not enough information about them for a whole character sheet. It's really very minimal information. But with Stillfleet, it seems like you're, maybe not with NPCs, but certainly for antagonists or enemies and stuff, they probably just have as much information as like player characters. So should I just be printing this on a sheet? Probably. There probably is a very good argument for doing that as a character sheet However, I'm going to try doing it on cards. I think to start with, because I think writing out the information will help me a lot more than just like copying and pasting powers and stuff, and then printing it. But you know, depending on how that goes and stuff, I might change my mind and just print a character sheet instead. This is like the main antagonist, the main villain, so he's probably going to need, you know, some of the most information of the folk that I need to make. But yeah, okay. Okie dokie. Yeah, finished a little like character overview for this antagonist, which I'm now very happy with, and it started to give me some ideas of like how he runs his operation, and that's going to inform like the locations and like the guards and like the conflicts that the PCs will have to deal with, which is cool. Starting to like flesh that out and starting to like get a clearer picture of how that's going to work. I still haven't done his like stats and stuff, but that's fine. That was a longer session honestly than I was kind of intending on working on this, so it's time for me to take a bit of a break, get some food. I would like to do a workout today, so I'll figure out how's best to do that around eating. Yeah, and then we'll come back to this. It's very cold, so I'm wearing this ridiculous house cardigan that my mum got me for Christmas. Yeah, okay, I've had some lunch and I am going to do house hour now, which is where I deal with all the boring human stuff. Normally in house hour I would listen to one of my favourite podcasts, but because I've been working on all this stuff, it's stewing away in there, and so I want to make the most of that and allow myself to mull things over further and see if any more ideas come bubbling to the surface. So instead of listening to a podcast, I'm going to listen to some music while I do it. Let's do that. Okay, house hour is done, and as expected, I had a couple more ideas. I'm feeling good about this. I'm feeling a lot better about it than I have in the previous days. It's now feeling less overwhelming and scary. So the first thing I wanted to do was just to get your sheet off you, and have you decided what your powers are yet?
No, actually.
Okay, so I think we could do that quickly as well.
Okay, so my sheet. Where did I put my sheet?
Yeah, I thought we'd do some nice background space noise. Okay, so you are a factor. So your marquee power is command. I guess you're going to need to copy and paste them anyway, so
I'll just open it up here.
Yeah.
So Discord. Where's the?
Okay, I'll just do Control B.
Okay, I just don't do that. I just don't like computer powers.
Shortcuts. And then you get to choose 3 from this list.
I have already picked a few that I thought I was going to take, but I can't remember what they were now. So.
Cool. So we've got Avenge, Bark, Detect, Dispense, Feed, Requisition. But there's a Banshee power called, is it Dive? Which is, you can literally burn 6 grit and make a move check. If you succeed, you and some or all of your party make out of your current situation, evading any danger. Doesn't matter how unlikely this is, GM will make it work. But you can only bring like a certain number of people. So like Banshees have like an escape any situation kind of card.
I was about to say, because that would have made sense if the ball had been the Banshee power. He just like summons.
Oh yeah, these are my dice that Rory got me.
Ooh, cute.
I feel like I've got such a great... I got this bowl to roll in, and this fits perfectly.
Yeah.
It's so cool. Yeah.
Oh, the fluid moves inside.
Yeah, how cool is that?
Whoa. I got 19 twice in a row.
Oof. I don't know if I've ever rolled a d8 or something.
I love rolling a d4. That's so funny.
Cool, so let's get to prepping, I guess. I wanted to chat about something, but I can't remember what it was. Yeah, so thank you for the advice about like estimating, like breaking the session into encounters essentially, and estimating like 5. Because now I've got ideas for at least the first 3, and I need to figure out what the others are going to be. I'm interested though, like how much prep you do or what components you put into each of those encounters.
So, I'll write like stuff like this.
I was going to ask, so you do it in Word?
Yeah, I just write up. So I've got like a plot summary, antagonists, I break down certain things. Realistically, the thing to focus on is like this.
So is this for the first session?
So I decide to say, encounter 1s, go to meet Cam, I have descriptions in blue, I have quotes. Green is something I want to read out to you. Word for word.
Okay.
Yeah, so like that's the breakdown of actually what's happening. So like I'll color code it in different things, and I might do like skill checks in like red. So like for like DC 5. Yeah,
because I know obviously like if it's a combat or a puzzle or something, like obviously you have to build that. But like what do you do if it's more like a role play scene? Is there like...
I'll write an attitude for them, like say like, this is their basics of their personality. If you approach them with certain things, then this is how they're going to have to react. If you try to intimidate them, they're going to get angry. So
I'm assuming that you need to know like, well, what are the PCs trying to get out of this?
Yeah,
scene?
what are their motives?
Like, what's their goal?
What's their motives? What's their goal? What do they care about? What do they not care about? A good way of doing it as well is I've got some pathways to look at if you want. So this is like professionally made adventures. And you can literally just read. So the very first game they ever made, Dead Sons. So that's the actual story here to here. So we'll go to 6. Here's the first map that they use.
That looks cool.
Yeah, so it's like a docking bay 94. And this is the encounter. Caught in the crossfire. So they've got a section that they read out. In this, they direct things that you do. So if the PC's offer this, you do this. If you don't, you make it up on the spot or whatever. Things that are willing to agree to, like maybe 200 credits, but you also maybe put in like a fail state of like if they don't get what they want, maybe they get 150, or if they try and speak up to the... Because some players are like, I'm going to ask for more money, so maybe you'll have a pre-built success for that. So you just like give them an extra 50. So you don't just go off the top of your head and go 100, and it's like that's not what I want to give them.
Yeah, this is a lot. Yeah, this makes sense. It's a lot more linear than the Monster of the Week stuff.
So here's like information extraction. So when you write a table for their rolls, and then you say if they get this roll, this is how much they find out. So if they roll like a 15, they get 10 and 15.
Oh,
if they roll a 20, they get
that's
1,
really
20,
handy.
So it's about how much information they can gain from an investigation.
What if you're writing everything out linearly? What if I need to like? What if you're like
doing a location or a character like out of sequence, and then like is it annoying to go like find it within that linear stuff. So
here,
I think
literally, I just have a collection of groups of characters, and each of them have a breakdown of what they could entail.
Which is in that.
Which is in
their
their
sheet.
documents.
Yeah, so that would be my index cards essentially. Do you have any idea how long it took you to prep all this? Because like most of that is.
I've done prep
homebrew.
in 6 hours,
Right.
and I've done prep in like 2 months. It really just depends on how much hours I put into it, and I procrastinate a lot. Sometimes I'll have a blast for like an hour and do like a whole section. Like design this probably took me.
Yeah, I meant like this, but obviously I know it varies, but I wondered if you'd remembered how long roughly you spent on this particular session.
I actually spent a bit of time, like maybe like if I put the hours together, I'd probably say about maybe 10.
Right.
But that's just me dicking around. I probably get a lot more stuff out of this.
Yeah.
For example, like I spent a lot of time like playing the last game, like Captain's Log for a shit.
This is wild.
What?
Just trying to do a map of this is fucking insane.
Oh god.
Because all of the like spindle is just full of rune blobs, which are like these big kind of porous pockets of air. And this is the big folk ones. And then I'm gonna go with another type of pen and do like inside the walls for all the whisker folk ones. Yeah, insane.
Good morning. I am just out of bed. I'm having a cup of tea. I'm gonna go for a run. I am feeling kind of anxious about this game. I'm feeling a bit out of my depth, to be honest. I've been watching YouTube videos about game prep and stuff, and I was speaking to Jack about it yesterday, and I'm just realizing that like I still don't really know what prep looks like, and because I'm running an indie unreleased game, there isn't like this big backlog of like previous adventures and stuff where I can just like read through things and steal things and stuff. There's one published venture for Stillfleet at the moment which I have already had a read of, but because I'm making it even weirder, because I'm not even running that straight, I'm doing like a tiny rodent people version of it. This setting is so weird that I don't know where to steal from, if anywhere. And so it feels like I need to make everything whole cloth. And I just don't have those resources. And I'm just realizing, I guess. I mean, I already knew, but it's becoming even more clear to me like how light the prep is for Monster of the Week or those like 2d6 systems, the Powered by the Apocalypse systems. Well, I guess I'm also doing like a one-shot versus, you know, a mini campaign where I'm deciding on particular scenes and encounters and stuff. The games that I've run so far have been very much like, okay, here's a location, there's a monster, go and investigate and fight it, and that's it. Yeah, I'm just a little bit overwhelmed. I can't seem to get my head around like what the objectives are for these first intro scenes. The maps are feeling a little bit overwhelming. I'm sure there are places that I could find maps and things that I could retrofit in some way. So I'm sure there probably are some maps out there that would be helpful, but I have no idea where to go for them. I just don't have the resources yet. I'm still so new to this. Anyway, I'm just complaining, I think. I'm just a bit stressed about this. I feel like I might have bitten off more than I can chew. And I don't want to postpone the game, but I think I might. It might come to that. Today, oh my god, I only have 2 days left. Fuck. And I have a workshop on Friday that I have like an outline for, but I need to run through, and I haven't, and oh boy. I'm rethinking my notes system. I'm now thinking maybe I will just use a linear digital document, you know, maybe it'll be easier if I think the problem with last time was that I broke it up. I broke things up into separate pages when really it all needed to be on the one page.
A nearby location. That's something we probably might want to know about. This is all pretty obvious stuff, I know. I'm not being particularly revealing any kind of massive secrets, and that's because there are no massive secrets to all of this. It's just about breaking it down. That becomes a likely location. Our players are probably going to explore that. They're probably going to try and investigate that. So it's probably a location we need to plan. If I think that actually they're going to be spending most of their time in the current location, they're not going to go out anywhere, they're not going to find anywhere new, I might spend more time. I might only come up with 1 or 2 other things.
Right, okay. I've finally watched a video that has like properly kind of like stratified session prep in the way that I was looking for. Like, here's how to break it down in terms of like headings, and here's roughly how many locations to have, here's what I write for each location, here's like, you know, roughly how many NPCs to have for each location and stuff. So I finally feel like I have a plan to follow in terms of prep, and so I'm gonna get started on my first location slash scene slash encounter, and we'll see how we get on. Here we go.
Your timer is set for 1 hour.
Okay, it's finally starting to come together. Thank God. I am, I think, mostly done with this first scene or this first location. I have a couple of NPCs to make. They're going to be kind of security goons who work for the main antagonist. But yeah, I'm finally starting to see how this is going to come together. I do also need to just go over this map in pen. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah. Yeah, finally starting to feel a little bit better about this. Still feel like I'm taking ages to put this together because it's all homebrew. And I'd like to get quicker at that, but hey, I'm still learning. This is my first time doing this, so it's okay if it takes me a bit longer than I would like. I will get better with time. Okay, another hour stint and then house hour. Hey Siri, set a timer for an hour.
Okay.
one of my PCs is starting out as a bounty hunter, so I want to create a target, like a person they're trying to catch. So let's roll that up.
Too much stuff. Hi, hello, good morning. It's 10:30. The game is tomorrow and I have a lot to do. I did not sort out the house yesterday, even though I said I was going to. And the day before that with Jack, we created a lot of dishes and mess. And so I don't have any cutlery, I don't have any dishes. I really need to deal with that stuff today, but I'm also feeling the time pressure for prepping for tomorrow. So I think I'm going to do a sprint now of game prep, and then I'm going to break house hour into 2 like half-hour stints and be working in between, so that it doesn't feel like right now taking a full hour away feels like I don't have time for that, even though I know that's not true. I think I forgot to film this last night, but I did start going over one of my maps in pen. Yeah. So I've got 2 of my 3 maps for these 3 encounters. I need 1 more map for the 3rd encounter, and then I think the 4th like scene or encounter is going to take place back in this pub, because I'm going to bring all the PCs together and have them like meet each other for the first time in a while, and also share like what they learned and stuff from the previous scenes. So do I think it's feasible for me to do like hand draw a map like this for every single like location that I'm going to use in this game? Not necessarily, but it has really helped for now. And like I've said before, this is a really strange world where a lot of the easily accessible assets for tabletop games don't really fit. Like I had a look at like some like sewer maps and stuff, but just none of it was like close enough to this world that I was happy using it, so we'll see. But yeah, this is a lot of work. Anyway, let's get on with it. It's now about 3 o'clock and had my lunch. I procrastinated by watching some more YouTube videos. I have done a little stint of dishes, so I at least have cutlery to use now. And I'm actually feeling kind of anxious today. Just, yeah, not great. Just like some physical anxiety symptoms. And so I've taken some CBD oil, and I think I am going to go out for a quick walk before I get back to work on the game prep stuff. It is a really bright day today and it looks pretty clear, no rain or anything. So I'm gonna go get some fresh air and then we're gonna come back, and the last stuff I have to do is to finalise my maps and to prep for the final scene, which will be like bringing my 3 PCs all together into the one place so they can start plotting, so they can talk to each other, and so they can start deciding to do this heist that they're going to be doing. So I ended up walking all the way to the big Asda just for a bit of a browse, and was listening to some NADPod, which I've just started. And to be honest, it really wasn't good. Like, it's kind of easing up now. I'm touching my chest because I always, when I get anxious, my chest gets really tight and constricted, and so that's where I feel it. It's easing up now, but I was just basically having like a fairly low level but like consistent and drawn out anxiety attack. So that's lovely. Don't know why, really. So I'll probably take some more CBD oil, and I'm gonna try and make a little cozy nest for myself on my office chair while I do some more map stuff. I think I'm going to start with the map stuff. I would really like to just get this stuff done now. We're playing at 4 PM tomorrow, and I would really like to... I bought myself Zelda Link's Awakening for Switch, and I haven't started it yet. I'd really like to just spend the evening doing that, chilling out a bit and letting myself come down off of this anxiety ride that I'm apparently on today. Yeah. Fucking sucks, man. There's nothing to do out there. Literally the only thing that's open anymore is the supermarkets, and it's been like that for the last 2 months. So I can go for a walk, but if it's not a particularly nice day, you know, it's just like, it feels like walking around a wasteland, to be honest. I might see if I can focus doing the map stuff while listening to a podcast. That might be too distracting if I'm making decisions about what's going on the map, but if I'm just drawing over stuff, then that might be good. And I know that doing something absorbing while also listening to a podcast really helps, like, for when I get into the flow, basically, it really helps me calm down, or it helps my anxiety. So we will give that a try. Anxiety attack, so that's lovely. Don't know why, really. Hi Rachel, future editing Rachel here. Have you considered that your anxiety attack might be because you have just spent 3 full days completely out of your depth, scrambling around to develop skills which are completely new to you under a deadline? Could all the stress of everything you've been doing for the past 3 days have anything to do with that? I don't know, something to think about. How is best to do this? This is a ridiculous amount of blanket. What if I fold it? How? Okay. Okay. Ridiculous.
How much like Boss Nass does he look like?
The Cobalt?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
Not
gonna
at
say,
all.
do
Okay,
I
cool.
have any idea of kobolds like and their comparative strength to bullywugs with their weapons? We've already taken a dent at their army.
Yeah.
We've already destroyed their morale.
It looks like the keep has no ceiling because you can see light at the tops of the distant trees through the archway. It looks like the top floor maybe just fell and became the ground floor for most of the keep, from what you can see here. The only structures that appear to be
Like why you said there's a drawbridge with like chains?
where the drawbridge used to be.
Okay.
So is there a moat?
You guys are not perceptive. Suck it, Hardborn.
Oh shit, I'm 11, not 13. Wow. One was a 1, and the other one was a 7, bringing me to a big old whopping 9.
9?
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay. Not a whole bunch, no. As you swim back,
Yes.
you guys do see the.
Is it good news?
You guys see the winged kobolds that were in the southeast guard tower?
Yeah.
Fly up into the air.
I think we might be bad at stealth, y'all.
Hi, okay, I think I'm done. I've prepped for all 4 scenes. We'll see how much we get through. We'll see how much we get through. I don't know. The one thing that I might still do is a couple of little cheat sheets. So like rollable tables for NPC names. It's time for me to get some dinner. And I think I'm gonna watch some American Gods. I'll do those tables tomorrow before the game, and then we're doing it. Holy shit. I'm very excited about this, but it's out of my comfort zone and I'm very nervous. I just want to get a few sessions under my belt to get a feel for like how much prep is good. No, I think you'll find it's my face you want to focus on, my dear. Yeah, that video, which I will link below, by the way, that I've used to kind of structure my prep and notes, was super, super helpful to give like actual numbers of like, here's roughly how many NPCs per location, here's roughly how many encounters, blah, blah, blah. But that video, as far as I remember, didn't specify like how long a session that is. If it's not quite enough, that's fine, I'll just end the session early. And obviously if it's too much, then it's fine, we can get to the other stuff in the next session. That's the benefit of doing anything other than a one-shot. But yeah, just the unknown of that is a little... Anyway, dinner.
Central Park carousel, but like maybe on the scale of like momentary lapses in judgment, bad decisions, moments where you lose your connection to something. Yeah, you think probably you have been possessed by Null.
Makes me think there's something. Is there some kind of good version of Null? Because I mean, I say this as someone.
Oh. Cheat sheets. Oh, what's that album called? It's French. French like electronica. It's not Justice. College. Heritage. Yes. Heritage by College. That's what I want. Okay, about 45 minutes before the game starts, so I am going to go stretch my legs, take a wee walk, listen to a podcast, drink some coffee, and then it begins! Nothing like some last minute stress, eh? I was just out for my walk and my friend Rory just called me being like, hey, so my cat knocked a full glass of water over my laptop and it's broken. So I don't know how we're going to do this game. And so we've just had to move and like test out doing it on Zoom instead of Discord. It's 7 minutes until the game is due to start. So I was hoping to kind of ease myself into it in a chill way, but that was just like a whole bunch of stress. But it seems like it's going to be okay. So, last minute prep. Gonna get myself a fresh cup of coffee, lay out my notes, and get cozy in here. Not great for the old anxiety, but hey.
Yes, I stand behind that.
They have no fear and they're not shy at all, so I'm going to have to make sure not to be shy. And if someone needs to walk up to someone else, I'll be like, I'll do it, and just walk forward.
Good.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, everyone can hear everyone, right? So good start. Yeah, I'm still kind of getting my notes together after the last minute panic. What's your other screen? What are you talking about? Hello, Cinnamon Bun. So I wanted to wrap up this vlog with a bit of chat on the takeaways that I had from this experience and how it all went, what I learned. As I'm filming this, you're talking to editing, Rachael, so it's the 10th of April. So it's been almost 2 months since I went through all the stuff that you just saw in this video. It's been very interesting to edit this video because there's so much. I don't think I really understood what was happening and how much stress I was under at the time. It's all kind of just a haze, and I think editing this vlog has forced me to kind of confront a little bit what I went through, which maybe sounds a bit strange because I know that, you know, I have some big emotional vlogs that I've done in the past, and this isn't necessarily one of them, but there are parts of this that are a little bit difficult for me to watch, to be honest, or that I just found interesting. Because vlogging is kind of like keeping a diary, it's like keeping a record of your experiences, and so editing this, especially because it was so long and I had to think about how I wanted to edit it and how much to cut down and everything, forced me to kind of really reflect on the experience of prepping and running this game. I think there's a kind of confluence of circumstances which all together ended up with me being really very stressed and anxious about this whole process in a way that is not nice to watch, really, because this is meant to be an enjoyable experience. It's meant to be something fun to do with your friends. And watching myself just kind of cracking under the pressure of something that's meant to be light and fun is like not particularly enjoyable. I don't know what it's like for someone else to just see that footage and not have my own internal experience of it, obviously, which I do. I don't know why I only had 4 days to do this. It's now so long ago that I can't remember. I assume that I was procrastinating and that maybe some other things had come up. So for some reason I ended up in this crunch of having to learn how to do this for the first time in the span of 4 days. Maybe I was specifically procrastinating because I didn't know where to start. I don't know. So that's takeaway number 1. That was not enough time. And I want to be clear, I'm not saying that 4 days is not enough time to prep for a session. It's obviously not true. People do it in much, much shorter time periods than that. I just mean for me personally to learn how to do this for the first time from scratch, completely homebrew, having never run pre-made modules and stuff before, it was not enough. The second thing is that it's actually quite difficult to watch how much time I feel like I wasted in the beginning of this, in the first 2 days kind of specifically. How many dead ends I went down, how much time I really put into stuff that ended up not being super helpful or really what would have been the priority for the session. And again, that just comes from, I'm learning this for the first time, I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm not even sure how clear it is how truly out of my depth I am for the first 2 days of this vlog. I have no idea where to start, and so I just start doing things and I end up funneling a lot of time and effort into things which don't feel like they had much of a payoff. Okay, ran out of space on my camera, so let's try that again. Yeah, the first 2 days of this I spent just completely out of my depth, stabbing around in the dark, didn't know where to start, didn't know what to prep or how much time to spend on anything. And then I found this video and I finally had a plan and something to follow, and so I knew what to do, but by then it was about the time crunch then. I only had 2 days to then make my way through that entire plan and actually do all of the work. And that was coming on the heels of 2 days of exhausting myself, but also feeling like I was getting nowhere, like I was just spinning my wheels and just feeling very stressed and overwhelmed with it all. So all of this is stuff that I am trying to make sure doesn't happen again, and that the circumstances under which I am prepping and running these games are not like that again. It is deeply, deeply sad and funny to me that I have an anxiety attack, and it's really unpleasant. It lasts for several hours, and in the moment I'm like, I don't know why. Why am I so anxious today? And it's just, the mind boggles. I'm like, how could I possibly? Hindsight is 2020, and it's just very interesting to be like, it's so clear why I got so anxious, but I just couldn't see that in the moment. Like, as it was happening, I didn't understand. So those are some takeaways. Let's talk about how the game itself went, because I did film a really short clip after, but to be honest, I don't really say much, and I can tell that I'm just like exhausted, so I thought I'd just recap it here. I think the game went good, actually. I think it was kind of hard for me to see that in the moment because I was just so tired and stressed about all of it. I think it went good. It ended up running really short, so I found that I'd actually kind of under-prepared somehow, just in terms of how much content was in each location for each new scene. So it ended up running like just under, I think, 2 hours, which I didn't feel great about at the time, but I just ended it early, and there were some really enjoyable moments. I think the players had fun, but yeah, to be honest, it was a bit deflating actually after so much stress to then be like, okay, now it's over. Was that it? Kind of? Okay. I absolutely want to do more of this. I feel like it's a storytelling and like a narrative medium and format that I think aligns very well with me and my personality and my brain in a lot of ways. But to be honest, yeah, my first experience running the first session of, you know, a campaign, even if it is a small campaign, was just not what I want it to be. It was far too rushed, far too crunched in terms of time, stressful, anxiety inducing, and that is not how I want to play this game and tell these stories from now on. So yeah, I actually haven't had session 2 yet of this, partially because I knew I didn't want to repeat that process, and so I wanted to have everything prepped before we set a new date, which means that unfortunately we haven't got to play again. I've learned a ton from prepping session 2. I've basically gone completely digital now and doing everything in Notion, and even from session 1 I've upgraded the way that I set up my notes, and I've now used Notion databases and stuff as well, and all of that feels a lot better. And so it's kind of hard to watch the start of this vlog where I'm talking about all these different paper systems that I want to use that ended up all going in the bin. But hey, this is what happens when you're learning to do something for the first time, which I keep having to remind myself of. like, this is a new skill for me, and there's a lot that can go into it, and I just need to be okay with the fact that I tried a lot of things and a lot of things didn't work and a lot of things went in the bin, and that's just the way it goes. One more takeaway that I didn't talk about in the footage is planning for scenes in terms of like how they're going to move the story forward, in terms of like motives and goals for the characters and conflicts. I'm used to writing in linear storytelling formats, and so I come up with characters' motive for the scene and I know what that is from the beginning, and then I put conflicts in front of them and then we resolve it somehow. That's not how it works with game stuff, because the PCs choose their own motives. That you can give them incentives and stuff, but it's not quite the same. You can't plan what they're going to want ahead of time. And so something that was incredibly useful from the kind of framework that I ended up using from Tabletop Weekly is just coming up with a list of possible rewards, or I guess like they're almost like possible resolutions, things that can be gained in that location, whether that is you know, like physical treasure or loot or magic items or just information, you know, these next clues, these next steps to bring them further into the story. And just thinking of it like that, like having like, oh right, so their goal is just to like interact with the scene and get some of these things, and we don't necessarily have to have figured out what they are in advance. There's like a handful of them, and we'll see what happens. That was an absolute game changer for me in terms of thinking about how I prep locations and scenes, because I am having to switch my brain from being entirely plot focused and everything else revolving around the plot to the PCs being the drivers of the plot, and I am building the world around them, which then needs to react to that. And so that was a big switch that I had to make, and that I still am trying to make, that's been very interesting. But yeah, that change from like, instead of sitting down to brainstorm a scene like I would when I'm writing one, which is like, okay, what's the motive, conflict and resolution, to what is this location, what are the things that the PCs can find and gain in this location, and those are what will move the story forward, was huge and would have saved me so much time, but hey. Anyway, those are some of my thoughts from where I am now, looking back at this whole experience. We're gonna do better next time. So that's all for this video. If you are a game master yourself, I would love to know what were the most helpful resources that you came across when you were first starting out, and maybe going through some of the stuff that I went through, just not knowing what you're doing. Please share them in the comments. I would love to hear about them, and let's just have some chat. There are two wee things that you might want to know about. Firstly, if you are a writer, I have a free 7-day like introduction to the plot embryo course that you can find at rachaelstephen.com/plot. I also do a monthly live stream. It's called The Clubhouse. We are trying doing it on Zoom at the moment, where we hang out, catch up, chat, and sometimes we do some co-working sessions. And if you want to join that, you can go to somewhere, patreon.com/RachaelStephen. And finally, a little update on the Story Magic Academy, which is my like flagship story work, plotting, writing course. It has been on pause since January. I'm going to be announcing the next enrollment week really soon. So if you want to hear about that, if you're interested in joining or you just want more info, make sure you are on the waitlist, and the link for that will also be down below. Okay, that's it for now. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, wow, thank you and congratulations. I hope you're taking care of yourself, and I'll talk to you next time.